We're Chongqing right now, and here's my first impressions.
汉语汉字里面还是看得懂的哦。
看得懂一点点。
好像这些你看得懂吗？
进入
九层大道一段。
九层大道一段，我看得懂。
那你还是看得懂的。还可以哦，这个。
Money for a weekend on the mainland, but I ain't got to you on to this side. From the bike to the old town, feeling like a brick. I turn my nose up to some tourists from Sichuan. By the time I got.
So we did it. We moved to Chongqing. This is our second day here, and it's been a whirlwind. Not like a fairy tale whirlwind where Dorothy's house just kind of spins around and lands neatly on a witch. This is like a Twister style. Cows are battering you from every angle. The funny thing about moving in China and moving in China during COVID is the first things you have to do is register at the police and get your nucleic acid test, which bureaucracy always comes first. But we have completed both missions, and so we've gotten down to the business of actually shaping our apartment, and we feel a little less discombobulated. We packed our stuff in 2 pickup trucks and then jammed in with the guys and then jammed upstairs. It's a nice apartment, but now it's full of boxes. We got the internet. That's also important in this modern age, to get your internet up and running. Some of the first duties we had to check in with the police, and we had to get a nucleic acid test to say we don't have COVID. So we went to the police, and they're so serious about this, like it's within 24 hours, you have to. But it was Saturday, so we went, and they were like, oh, just come back Monday. And we're like, but they were so serious, 24 hours. So they called someone, they're like, yeah, just come back Monday. Which is, that's how bureaucracy works. There's many rules, some of them contradictory, and you have to follow them all. So we took a cab back from the police station, and the guy misheard me. I said, like, we were going to the college, and he kind of asked for clarification, and I was like, I don't know, 𝗪𝗵ǒ. which just means like the big door. And he thought I said 𝗖𝗵MC, which is a place. And so we got like halfway down the peninsula and I'm like, we're going to this place, right? And he was like, no, you said this. And I said, no, I said the big door. And he was like, oh no. So I would have paid for the whole ride because I'm the one who doesn't speak Chinese, but he knocked some price off the meter and was like very apologetic. And I'm like, no, that's great. It was me. And then the hospital was much easier. It was just because everybody has to get this done. So they at Chongqing, bigger city, so they do have more protocols in place. So like we had to scan the app and get our temperature taken before we could even go inside the hospital. But good morning. 你会说英文吗？只会说。It is a big city, but it's still like so friendly.
我想你没钱借100块钱给我。
But they checked us out in the vestibule to make sure we could come inside. And they looked us up and down and they're like, vaccine or test? And we're like, we're here for the test. And they just have big arrows on the floor for everybody getting those two things. The white is the test and the blue is the vaccine. And that was fairly straightforward. It was just a matter of standing in the right line. We met one of our neighbors. She came over and said hi. She's Chinese, but she has a British husband who I guess saw us and reported back. There's 2 new foreigners. Because all of or many of the foreigners live in this one building that we live in. But she herself, turns out she's from Luzhou, so we're kind of like, yada, 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 foreigners. You're from Luzhou! That's great! Which is, I mean, it makes sense. If you didn't leave to come to Chongqing, you probably came, or to Chengdu, you probably came to Chongqing. And then I had been prepared that it feels like someone is sticking something up your nose to touch your brain. And it still was like, it felt like, man, they really stick that way up there. But so that was our nucleic acid test. So a funny, unexpected difference between Luzhou and Chongqing is how relaxed everyone is about like the official paperwork here. Well, okay, there's a trade. In Luzhou, the police are really like, we gotta do the job, we gotta sign these every month, blah, 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 blah. You gotta register, you're foreign, you blah, 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 blah. And here, like, we showed up on Saturday and they're like, it's the weekend, come back Monday. And then today, we came and they're like, we know why you're here. Give us your passports, it's done, whatever. And then they said something and I didn't understand it, but I knew it was like a comeback kind of thing. And I was like, he doesn't walk that well, is it? And she was like, if we need pictures, we'll come to you. And so it was like, it just seemed like much more relaxed. And I know, or I suspect in our Luzhou PSB, like there was some head cracking going on. And that's why they were so strict. Some higher up like got a bug up their butt about like registering foreigners. So that could change here. But paperwork wise, for my work permit, I told the woman who's helping me get settled here, like in Luzhou, my school had guanxi, so they didn't really need these documents that you need. And she was like, what? They would never do that here. So that's interesting. One drawback of where we're living, our apartment's very nice. We're on campus, and the campus is very sweet. You can see around us, it's very lively. Families live here, so it's not just like us and a bunch of college students, although it's a lot of college students. But we live at the far corner of the campus, and the main door is like a 20-minute walk away. And Chongqing in August is a furnace. It's the furnace of China. So that's part of, we're just like physically beat from walking around in the sun. That's why maybe I'm babbling a little bit. So maybe I'm gonna have some noodles. So far, I couldn't really tell you what the Chongqing accent is, but I can tell it's different from Luzhou. Luzhou, I don't know if this will make sense to you, but Luzhou sounds very angular, whereas Chongqing sounds rounder to me. And I also so apparently I speak pretty good Mandarin. Not Luzhouhua, because people do understand me and they're like, oh, speak Mandarin to her, she understands Mandarin. But I have had, like with the taxi, and that happened before on a previous trip. I don't know what I'm getting wrong or what they're getting wrong, but there is just, I do think there's a accent barrier when I say certain things or when other people say certain things to me. I asked the proprietor, some guy was eating this, and I was like, I want that. And he's like, okay. So I think it's called blanket noodle. I mean, each province does have its own, whether it's a dialect or topolect or whatever the academic term is. Every region kind of has its own way of speaking. And sometimes they are mutually unintelligible. So I do know that there is a difference, but I can't quite hear what exactly it is.